guys. This is Stage Plays, aka D James, and I wanted to come on here just to talk to you guys today a little bit about some things that have been very heavy on my heart. When we started out this year and we yelled Happy New Year's, we wasn't expecting the year to turn out the way it has. It has been a very unpredictable year. Some may call it crazy, especially with this pandemic. So many people have lost their lives. So many of us have lost loved ones. So many families are trying to figure out how they're going to keep the roof over their heads, how they're going to feed their families. So many have lost their jobs. Children who were used to going into a school building are now just staying at home learning. And it has been a very, very unpredictable, crazy time. When you were able to just walk in the store, now you have to be covered up. Let's think about some other things. Let's think the field that I'm in, theater. When we prepare a production, we are looking for that audience. We are wanting to go on stage and open up the curtains to seats full of audience, right? Of people coming in to see this production that we have. And we had to literally reinvent ourselves. This is a crazy time. People have to be 6 feet apart and totally apart. And, it's just crazy, even for actors. Just this field has, and some have been lucky enough to reinvent themselves, and some are still struggling to reinvent themselves to keep afloat. So many businesses had to close. It has just been a very unpredictable time. The good thing I would say that has come out of this year is that it had taught a lot of us how to think outside the box. So that's what brings me to this topic today, what I want to talk to you about. Mental health, right? The stress of all these things that has been going on this year has been taxing on the heart and on the mind. And having mental stability is important for all of us. And it should be something that we should be striving for every day. And let's talk about therapy, right? Therapy can come in so many forms, right? It can come in the form of talking to somebody, to writing a good play or book, or reading a good play or book, watching a good movie, watching a good play on stage, taking a walk in the park, going for a jog, drinking a good cup of coffee or tea, or recently, like my husband and I did, was watch the Tyson versus Jones fight. But not having an outlet for that stress can be, how to say it? Let me see how to say it. Can lead to negative outcomes. Negative thoughts, negative decisions, and negative actions. The National Institute of Mental Health states that there is 1 in 5 people. So if there's a 5 people in a room, one of those people are struggling with mental health, right? As an African-American woman, this next statistic was very alarming to me. 63% of African Americans believe that if you have a mental health illness, it is a sign of weakness. But it's not. It's not a sign of weakness. If I broke my arm, the first thing I would do is go to the doctor so that I can get an x-ray, right? And then they will put a cast on my arm, and it will go through a process, right? Until my arm is healed. And then they will remove the cast and I wouldn't need it anymore, right? So that is how therapy is for your mind. It is like a cast. You go through a process, right? So that you can get healed until the time is where you have that stability and you can maintain, your life, where you can, something negative come, you can hit it with something positive and overcome it, right? So I want you to understand how much that every part of you matters. The way you think matters, the way you act matters, everything about you matters. So if you don't have an outlet for that stress, right? You will be negative actions. You don't want that. You want positive actions. So you have to learn ways to get that positive outcome, right? So I just want you to know that your mind matters. What you think matters. What you say matters. Um, and if you're angry, it's okay to be angry, but it's how do I deal with that anger? We all get angry. We all do, but how do we deal with that anger? How do we release that anger? You know what I'm saying? In a way that we can have a positive outcome. And so this is some of the ways that therapy can help you. So for example, I am so angry right now, right? And how can I release this? I may put on some headphones, listen to some gospel music, and maybe take a jog or something like that, and just get that stress out. And when I come back, sometimes I forget what I'm angry about. But that's one of the ways that I've learned how to deal with my anger. How do you deal with it? And so I'm here to encourage you. And I asked a couple of other friends and other people that we know to just come on and talk to you a little bit about mental health. We have, a variety of things here. And I don't know how to say this enough for you. You matter. You right there. You matter. I care about the people in my household. I care about the people outside of my household. I care about my mind, my heart, and I care about yours too. You matter. Take a look.
Hello, hello. My name is Regina Devers, also known as Lyric the Poet, but you'll see me known as Lyric mostly. I am going to read a poem entitled The Escape. Before I close my eyes, this is in reference to mental health awareness for all. Basically, it's something that and I would say in the African American community, it's very hush hush. Um, we don't want people to know that something is wrong with us, or people assume that something is wrong with us, and we're made fun of, and different things like that. But I just want to encourage those who are experiencing symptoms or experiencing things like that, that you go and seek help, seek counsel. Okay. All right. So here it goes. Let us get one thing straight. I did not ask for this trait. One minute, I am okay. The next, I am going through my emotions like a cyclonic day. One moment. That is all I asked for. I see how you thought that I would ask for more. But between medications and prescriptions, I read my Bible for more direction. The search through scripture to expose why I am so broken. But I am both called and chosen. My brain capacity humanizes me. It plays tricks on me. They say the syndrome is multiple personality. The issue is they only know half of the situation. We didn't even get to talk about the signs of severe depression. You see, now it triggers the anxiety as they cue me up for dialectical behavioral treatment therapy without even peeking into my childhood, let alone the obsessive compulsion with food. So I need an escape, one that will permanently erase the pain. Knock, knock. It is me on the other side. Open the door so I can hide before paranoia sets in and brings more friends. Before I close my eyes, I must end this debilitating hurt. But wait, let me talk. to my counselor first.
Hello, Miss Williams. How are you?
Not too bad, I guess. You come highly recommended.
Well, that is good to know. Thank you.
How do I know what we talk about stays here?
Miss Williams, everything that we talk about here is confidential. I respect all my clients' confidentiality.
Oh, well, that's good to know. But what about the people out there eating and watching us?
What people?
You don't see those people out there laughing?
Delusional. May
What are you writing?
meds.
Dr. Jackson, wait a minute. I'm not crazy. I'm just a little nervous. I promise you I'm not crazy. It's just my baby girl has been asking me about my childhood. And I don't really know what to tell her.
Well, Miss Williams, why don't you start out by telling me about your childhood?
Where do I start?
Well, start out by telling me your name.
Okay. My name is Monica Williams, and this is my childhood. I was about 4 when my mom and Anton had what seemed to be a fairy tale wedding. I mean, we were what many would call a tight-knit family. We did everything together. Movies, skating, all types of family events. My father was in the military and died in combat before I was born. So Anton was what I would call my father figure. Everything was good until I turned 10. I'll never forget that number. May 2nd, 1985. That's when things pretty much went downhill for me. My mom was doing the laundry and she found a phone number in Anton's pants. So they began to fuss about it. And she got real angry and she left. Anton got drunk and started listening to his music. And I went in my room like I always did when they, were fussing. So when he came into my bedroom, I just thought it was the normal, baby girl, don't worry. Parents fight. We're gonna be all right. But instead, that night, he robbed me of my innocence. I begged him to stop. I screamed for my mother. I told him, Anton, you're hurting me. But he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. I was 10 years old. And he raped me. I feel like a failure.
Monica, you are not a failure.
Ever considered asking yourself this question? How is my mental health doing? I'm having so many issues with not treating myself well on the inside. I'm having problems within my relationships, at work and at home. How am I really doing mentally? Well, my name is Thais Edmond, and I am a counselor. And each day I help people to answer those questions. Yes, counselors help you process out things that are going on in your life and hopefully offer you some skills to use when you're dealing with these type of distressors. Hopefully by looking at this play, you'll be able to see and be encouraged to go and talk to a counselor. I understand it may not be the popular thing to do, but I think you're worth it. What do you think?
Hello, everybody. My name is Brianna, also known as Trillionaire Art on Instagram. And today I'm basically here to tell you guys how I've been coping through everything that has been going on in 2020. We all know that this year has been very unpredictable, very stressful, and we've all had to come up with ways to, get through it. Personally, my therapy has been to paint. I literally paint on, anything from custom shoes to canvases to t-shirts. Anything you could think of, I probably have painted on it. But yeah, this is my therapy.
Hello, my name is Mr. Sutton, school social worker. I'm here to talk about the importance of mental illness. Mental illness historically has been a significant factor in society. However, there was such large stigma associated with it that many people deterred themselves from identifying with mental illness or seeking treatment. Many times that wasn't even available. However, throughout time, treatment and identification of mental illness has become much more prevalent. In today's society, we recognize that it impacts all ages, from young to old. It also impacts people across the board, across races, of course, gender, and throughout communities in the world. Fortunately, many celebrities and others, scholars and the like, have begun to raise awareness to mental health and as well as resources that are available to help to mitigate the impact of mental health or illness. So we have a number of factors that play into mental health, such as childhood trauma, abuse, domestic issues in the home, long-term stress, physical health conditions, having to care for others for long periods of time, social implications in terms of isolation or just difficulties in general. Discrimination is definitely a major factor that plays into mental illness. There's not a lot of consensus around it. However, I recognize a lot of genetic factors that play into mental illness. Um, and so we look at the financial aspect in terms of homelessness, people that are able to access different types of resources and treatment, other types of factors that play into whether you would be stable enough to be mentally well. And so I think a lot about equity in society. And where there's equity, people are able to have more protective factors that can help to prevent mental illness. We look at the way that children are raised. If they're raised to foster independence and trust, if they have those most basic needs taken care of, then that sets them on a road that can help them to avoid to have impacts of mental illness. So I work largely with youth, families, and communities, and I see across the board the impacts of negative mental health conditions, as well as overall general mental health within professionals that I work with, family, friends. So it's very important, mental health, especially now in our current society, that we recognize the impacts of mental health and that we help to combat those impacts when it looks to harm our communities as well as the world at large. I thank you for taking the time to listen to some of the information that I have concerning mental illness, and hopefully you'll continue to spread the message that mental illness is real and it's something that we need to continue to fight and support people around. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian James from Mpactt Productions, and I want to talk to you about mental health. I want to discuss with you 4 thoughts that usually prevent men from getting the help that they need. 4 thoughts that prevent men from getting help with anxiety and depression. Thought number 1, men should be able to somehow control their feelings. Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you could control your feelings any better than anybody else. We have to get past the stigmatism of being this macho man and I have to control my feelings and I can't show emotion. You did not choose to be depressed. You did not choose to have anxiety. And just because you was born a man doesn't mean that you have any more control over how you feel than anybody else. That is something that needs to change. You don't have any more control over your feelings, and the faster you get help, the better off you'll be. Number 2, asking for help somehow makes you weak. That kind of thinking is crazy. As a matter of fact, not asking for help is crazy. Not asking for help is a sign of weakness. If you are having problems with mental health, whether it be anxiety or depression or anything, or worrying or feeling depressed, all of these things are things that are totally normal. You are not alone. And just because you're a man and you feel like, oh man, I better not let nobody know that, I'm feeling this kind of way, it's just absurd. It's okay to say, hey, I feel some kind of way. It's okay to say, I need to talk to somebody. It's okay to call up a family member or talk to your spouse, or even to get professional help. It's okay, because without doing that, that is the real sign of weakness. You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to not have this as a thought. Not getting the help you need, not asking for help is a sign of weakness, not in the reverse. Number 3, talking about my feelings won't change anything. That is not true. As a matter of fact, it is very important to talk about the things that you're feeling. It's okay to let out and let people know that, hey, I'm feeling down. Or, you know what? I just lost my job and that makes me feel horrible and I need to talk about it. Or, my car is not working and I got to get to work and I need to, and that makes me feel bad, or whatever the situation is that we go through as men. It is okay to talk about it. As a matter of fact, sometimes talking about it, in most instances, I should say, talking about it is the first positive step, or the first thing you should do in the right direction of making sure that everything is okay. You know what I mean? Talking about it does change the outcome. Expressing and confessing that something is wrong and trying to get the proper help does change the outcome. So many times people go through anxiety and depression, or go through being anxious or being worried. And the minute they talk about it, the minute they talk about how they're feeling, that makes them feel that much better. Talking about what you're going through really does change the narrative. And the idea is to change the narrative. The idea is to not be depressed. The idea is to not allow worry and anxiety, because those things don't change anything. Worrying don't change anything. But being able to talk about it, well, that's something that we should consider. Last but not least, number 4, mental illness is a personal failure. That is not true. Just because you have a mental illness or a small gap where you're not feeling right, it's not some type of personal failure. You didn't choose this. You didn't choose to be depressed. You didn't choose to have anxiety. It's an unavoidable part of life. And we all go through it. Male, female, kids, children, it doesn't matter. We all go through it. And as men, I know sometimes it's hard to admit when we're, feeling a little anxious about something, or having anxiety, or going through depression. But you being able to go and get the help you need and speaking up, that's a sign of strength. You are more powerful than you know. You have more authority than you know. And you have more access to help than you know. Whether it be a family member, whether it be professional help, you matter. You matter to God, you matter to yourself, you matter to your children, and you owe it to all of the above to do everything you need to do to get your mental space, to get control of your mental space and make the right steps. And guess what? The right steps is talking about it. The right steps is seeking professional help, going to your pastor, going to a professional, or going to a family member. You owe it to yourself to get the help and to not allow these thoughts or these myths to stop or be an enemy to your progress. You are strong, you are worth it, and you are a man. Take care of your family. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of the people who matter the most. Get the help you need. There is no pride. Remember, pride comes before a fall. We're not in this to fail. We're not in this to fall. Speak up when you need the help, whether it be mental help, speaking to somebody about thoughts that you may be having, whether it be financial help, saying, hey, I need somebody to loan me some money until I can get on my feet, whether it means that you just need to talk to somebody about, something that happened on your job, or something that happened in your family, or something that happened in your home, or something that happened out somewhere in the street. Make sure you're doing everything you can to unlock the keys to health and to get you in the right space. You matter. God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. Make it a great day. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.